The United States and Iran are continuing peace talks and, quote, standing down after trading fire over the past few days. That's according to a US official. A return to diplomacy would follow several days of strikes and counterstrikes since an Iranian projectile hit a cargo vessel in the Strait of Hormuz on Thursday, with both Washington and Tehran accusing the other of breaking an interim ceasefire agreed earlier this month. Iran launched missiles and drones at US military sites in Kuwait and Bahrain early on Sunday, shortly after President Donald Trump threatened that the Islamic Republic would cease to exist if it didn't honor the agreement. David Smith has more from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, Axios, quoting an unnamed US official, saying there's been an agreement to stop kinetic operations for now. We don't know much more about how and why and when that'll be the case. And I would say we should probably treat it with a degree of skepticism. The Axios site in particular has had several stories over the past few weeks about peace agreements. And then, of course, it does tend to unravel. And a maxim really of the entire Donald Trump era is don't follow what they say, follow what they do. And, we shall have to watch in the coming hours and days whether there is indeed an end to hostilities, because clearly this peace agreement, this memorandum of understanding has been extremely fragile. We've had 4 days now of tit-for-tat exchanges. I think on the Iranian side, there's a recognition that the Strait of Hormuz is an absolutely vital bargaining chip. They don't want to give that away. They want to show that they retain control of it. There's, of course, huge anxiety over what is happening in Lebanon and Israel's attacks there. That tends to be a trigger for this. And the US, publicly at least, is saying Iran must be punished for these incursions, for these attacks on ships. The war is not necessarily over in that sense, but at the same time, Donald Trump facing pressure at home to end this war and return to domestic concerns. It's all quite a volatile cocktail, I think, and not necessarily a recipe for cool heads in building a lasting peace.